more than 3,000 years, the Jewish people have looked up to Jerusalem as the spiritual, historical, and political capital, even at times at which they themselves did not live or rule over the city. The Jewish story of Jerusalem had started in the biblical roots in year 1004 BCE, when King David declared the city to be the capital of the first Jewish kingdom. David's son and successor, famous King Solomon, was the one to build the first temple as a holy place of worship to God. However, history wasn't kind to the Jewish people. Some 400 years after the completion of the temple, the Babylonians seized and destroyed the city, forcing the Jews into exile. 50 years later, the Jews, or Israelites as they were called, were permitted to return home once Persia conquered Babylon. The Jews' first act in return was to reclaim Jerusalem as their capital and rebuild the Holy Temple, recorded in history as the Second Temple. During the First and Second Temple periods, Jews throughout the kingdom would travel to Jerusalem 3 times a year for pilgrimages of the Jewish holidays such as Sukkot, Passover, and Shavuot, until the Roman Empire destroyed the Second Temple in 70 AD. This act had ended Jewish sovereignty over Jerusalem for the next 2,000 years. During this long time period, and no matter where Jews have lived, their thoughts and prayers were always directed towards Jerusalem. The Jewish people had never relinquished their bond to neither Jerusalem nor to the land of Israel. Although most of the Jews had been expelled out of Israel, a minority had stayed on, mainly in Jerusalem, even when others had actually controlled and conquered the city. Throughout history, Jews had tried to return to the land in order to live in the Holy Land, settling in 4 holy cities: Salford, Tiberias, Hebron, and most importantly, Jerusalem. The modern Zionistic movement of the 1880s had encouraged European Jews to move to Israel. Consequently, the number of Jewish inhabitants, mainly in Jerusalem, had grown rapidly. Further to the United Nations Declaration, the Land of Israel had been established in the year 1948. The Israel Independence War had broken up the same year, and the Jewish semi-assembled army had overcome the Arab forces that had attacked. The struggle for sovereignty over Jerusalem has continued ever since. However, the city is the heart and soul of the Jewish nation. Jerusalem is a city of worship for Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. It is also a city at which citizens live alongside each other. Nowadays, Jerusalem is a modern city with advanced commute possibilities, a vast growing nightlife variety, marketplaces, and a unique high-tech industry. Jerusalem, being the official capital of Israel, embodies all major governmental institutions. The Knesset, House of Parliament, houses of the President and Prime Minister are all set in the same vicinity. Jerusalem combines old and new, ancient and modern. It is a fascinating city to explore, visit, and live in.